Hey folks, I'm totally not named Dan, though you can call me that if you want. And I'm back again today with my buddy, Yuna the Sheep, to go over some more bans and errata for My Hero Academia / UniVersus, the card game. Something like that.
Yeah, thanks for having me here. And yeah, there's a few things on this one which makes a change from sometimes we often go.
Yeah, there are months where I don't bother covering it because we just get nothing.
Yeah, we love getting that notification, then it just... The update this time is we're looking at stuff, nothing's changing.
Yeah, whereas this time, they've hit a bunch of things, and it's specifically a ban list update around how dominant Younger Toguro, or Taguro Toguro as they call him in the Philippines for whatever reason, was on the death symbol. But moving on from him, just a second, I would like to first talk about something that we talked about last time as really needing an update. The interaction between Rando's Spirit Gun and Toga 4. We think Rando's Spirit Gun is an exciting build around that has very unique, powerful effect. Its attack's ability to allow players to use an ability normally limited to once per turn a second time is both fun and allows for a lot of creativity in deck building. Unfortunately, there is a significant interaction with the upcoming Toga character card from Girl Power that we want to go ahead and cut off at the pass. Using Rando Gun in conjunction with this character can create some severe NPE, negative play experience, high roll situations that we just want to avoid. This errata maintains 99% of the functionality of the card and all the fun stuff it can do while closing the NPE interactions we want to avoid. Now, they haven't touched Toga 4, which is a shame. I would have liked that to be the way it goes. But instead, they've touched Rando's Spirit Gun and changed it from Enhance, you may play once per turn abilities on your character a second time this turn, only playable if this card is immediately preceded by an attack or face down card. That second sentence just being a bad way of saying combo face down, combo attack. To the new text, Enhance, you may play once per turn abilities printed on your character a second time this turn, and then the same condition. So basically, this only interacts with Toga, because nobody else slaps abilities on their character like this, and it just says she can't use her gained ability a second time.
I guess it technically stops Monoma.
Yeah. It might do something to Monoma, but it's not the biggest deal. It's nice that they're fixing this. I'm a little disappointed that they're fixing this before the card comes out, because I would have really liked to have played the stupid broken thing, but it was visible to anyone looking at the cards that it was absolutely unfair, should not be allowed stuff. So, the fact that they're not allowing it, kinda good.
Yeah, it does stop the chaos, but sometimes it's fun to have that little bit of chaos, even if it only lasts for, say, the first week or two of it being legal, so it only really affects a local level.
Oh, no. This goes and becomes legal and then is immediately playable at events, is the thing. So it wouldn't just affect the local level, it would also affect qualifiers.
I
think the 20th is the first of them.
Okay, so yeah, that would affect it.
That's why that had to go as fast as it did.
Yeah, and it's not even like Rando Spirit Gun is dead until I could see people still maybe running it. Purely just so you can get two different effects.
Yeah, I mean, I still would. It doesn't hurt its use in Toga, it just stops its use in Toga being stupid.
Yeah, it makes it balanced.
Yeah. But that's one of the erratas this month. The big errata is Younger Toguro, or Taguro Toguro, as we mentioned. Since his release, Younger has put up impressive competitive results, frequently placing in top cuts and winning some events since his release. That's putting it lightly. He has completely dominated top cuts. A combination of tools on the death symbol and his ability to leverage those tools brought the majority of this success. He is also finding his way into top cuts on one of his other symbols as well. Yeah, Evil's shown up a bit as well. Younger from our data functions as a high floor competitive character that has become the default answer to what character gives me the best chance of making top cuts. Yeah, very much the case. He's an easy character who, okay, you can make a little bit better through skilled play and through skilled deck building choices, but he just does a lot out the gate before you even care about what cards go into the deck.
Yeah, it's just big damage, numbers go bare, oh look, my card pool is cleared.
Yeah. And so the stuff that makes his deck good isn't even really stuff that works with him. It is just stuff that's good on his symbols.
Yeah.
This isn't always a deal breaker, but the numbers don't lie, and he's winning above a rate that we consider acceptable. Yeah. I mean, when 90% of an event's top cuts is him, that's a problem. When it's that every week for like 2-3 months. That's crazy. And he has gone down a little in popularity lately because basically everybody is building to hate him, including me.
Yeah, I haven't yet, but I've not gone to any major events. I've only been to locals, and I hope no one in our local group would have been, oh, I'm going to play Younger Toguro to just decimate locals.
Yeah, I mean, why would I? He's boring.
Yeah.
But he's still a lot. Previously, his enhance said enhance your attack gets plus X damage. X equals half the number of foundations in your stage rounded down. Now his enhance says enhance commit 1 foundation. Your attack gets plus X damage. X equals half the number of foundations in your stage rounded down. This change cuts significantly into his early game strength and ability to always play at maximum efficiency. No, it doesn't. For a guy who builds foundation after foundation after foundation, then turns his attack into a foundation, and in doing so clears 1 progressive, the only cost they've added is commit a foundation. Does that seem reasonable to you?
I feel like they could have done a little more to it. Maybe put a little cap on the enhanced, say, plus 3 damage max. But the commit 1 foundation, yeah, it's a little more high risk at the beginning, but when you're building the attack, you're probably using the plus X damage on anyway to replace that foundation you commit.
Yeah, this is the thing. Commit a foundation is not a cost unless he plays like 5 attacks in a turn, maybe more. This character does not care about committing those foundations that much. They've not changed the key problems with him, which are the fact that the enhance is still relatively free, despite the commit cost, and that he's still a 6-hander with the abilities and health of a 5-hander.
Yeah, it's so weird that he has so much health for the 6-hander. Tiger, who, yeah, he draws a lot for a 5-hander, is still an actual 5-hander and only has 1 more health.
I mean, there are 5-handers with the same health as this guy. It doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, and that 1 foundation, with having such a big health pool anyway, it's really not a drawback. He can live a turn or 2 early game anyway. It's not going to affect his early game. He can take a lot of attacks because he's 32 health.
Yeah, I mean, I can turn to him with my Genkai list, but my Genkai list is stupid because it's got a card which just says plus 5 damage, draw a card.
Yeah.
And, if you hit that more than once in a turn, that's basically any character dead. It can turn to Byakko, and has done so in competitive events. So yeah, I'm not convinced this hurts Younger Toguro as much as they say it does. What they should have done, as far as I'm concerned, is first of all, change that 6 hand size to a 5. And second, one of the top UK players suggested to me, just in passing, what if it was only counting committed foundations? So to actually get the full buff, you had to go all out and stop yourself from having much of a defense.
Yeah, it makes sense. It would even change up how his deck plays a little, because you would want some stuff that gain effect when that card itself is committed.
Yeah.
Or some cards have that cost of committing themselves. One thing I thought they may have done was change the response to maybe just being, say, cost 1 momentum.
Interesting. I don't know if gating the response would fix the problem with him, but it might. The main thing here, though, that I'm trying to say is I don't think they've hit him enough. Some of the community have been saying, oh, this is great. This is a nerf that doesn't kill the character. He's still playable. I think he's still too playable. I think he's still too playable the way I thought Ojiro was still too playable, until they then went and banned one with nature.
Yeah. Like, he's still going to be good. He won't be as much of an easy top as he was before, but it's only going to be a slight change. It means he'll go down from, say, 6 people, it'll go down to like 4.
No, I reckon we'll only see 1 in the tops of events now, just because people won't play him anywhere near as much, because people are cowards after Errata. The same way we never saw another Ojiro, despite there being a month before his keycard was actually banned.
Yeah, and like, I faced an Ojiro at Nationals, and he can still do some crazy stuff against you.
Okay, I've not really seen him since, but if he was at Nationals, great.
Yeah, it was an interesting thing, because I just kind of knocked him off at first, because he's not that good anymore, nobody plays him, and it caused me to lose the first game because
Plus
I underestimated him.
And every attack is a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ojiro still has legs. He just doesn't have the access to plus 4 speed on every attack that he had before, in addition to his own bonus. But moving on, the big thing actually hit this time is we have a ban to Mop Strike. I really hate this. Just pure and simple.
So do I.
This was one of my absolute most favorite cards back prior to My Hero coming out, back around the time of the original YuYu. I was playing this in events in a deck for Meilien, who, yeah, okay, I know not everyone likes the fact that she's a 4,000-year-old little girl who's a dragon, but I really liked her from a mechanical standpoint of she was a character whose whole gimmick was hold 2 identical cards in hand to get +5 damage on every attack. That was pretty sweet. But the problem was, as a 5-hander, that meant she was essentially a 3-hander. And she had the ability to filter her deck a little bit, but she needed a lot more. And Mop Strike was one of the cards that made her playable. It essentially says discard 1, draw 2, but then it also messes with your opponent's hand a little bit. This is also a key card in Botan, because it's one of the few ways she can get the opponent to discard twice during one attack. So it's one of the few ways she can get the value of her Ore Strike way up, or her Bat Strike way up. The fact that they've banned this seriously impacts Botan, who did nothing wrong. And their justification for Mop Strike is, Mop Strike is a card we reprinted from the retro format with the original intent of offering up a powerful draw/disruption option. In its original time in a format, it was powerful but generally an unproblematic tool that saw a fair bit of play. While it was considered a sometimes frustrating card, it was not a power level issue. In the present day, it has proven to be a meta warping piece, drawing characters who can play it onto its symbols and providing an absolute ton of value. We have learned a lot studying the differences in this card's impact now compared to its original impact. In a way similar to Back Alley Haymaker, the card is putting up incredible usage and win rate numbers. This narrows the field and reduces competitive diversity in a way we are trying to avoid. Yeah, I disagree with all of that.
All they need to do to fix this will just make it a Botan enhance.
Yeah, just
The
make the
top
first
enhance.
enhance Botan enhance. I've also had it suggested to me, just make the first enhance not random. Let your rival choose the card. And while that's kind of off theme for Botan, I feel like that would also have been an okay fix.
Yeah.
You know, if your opponent only has 1 card in hand when you play this, that's on them.
Yeah, but as long as it's random, you're always going to have cases of you win some, you lose some. If you keep specific block, it gets rid of one of those specific blocks.
Well, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. It's always a bit up in the air with the random discard. But of course, people hated this card. They got extremely salty over it hitting the things they wanted to keep all the time. And yeah, because of that, this has been banned. I mean, if the discard and draw is too good, consider Titancliff. Discard 3, draw 3, build.
It was just the fact that this is
Titancliff
the
is
4th.
ridiculous. Yeah, but I mean, Titancliff's basically a 5-diff.
Yeah, as long as you're playing a 6 check, which most people will have about 1 or 2 in their decks anyway.
Yeah. And this is also, it's not reducing the impact of other cards. It is hand filtering, it is letting you see your other cards more. So it's not like people are relying on Mop Strike to win. People are relying on Mop Strike to see the things that make them win.
Yeah.
And yeah, everything wrong with Mop Strike, apart from the random discard, which I don't think is as big a deal as people are making it out to be, though it could be changed to be non-random if it needed to. Everything apart from that is worse with Titancliff.
They equate it to Back Alley Haymaker, but Back Alley Haymaker did way more than Mob Strike ever does.
Yeah.
But I don't think Back Alley Haymaker needed to be hit either.
Back Alley Haymaker was on the edge. I think Back Alley Haymaker could have been fine if they restricted it so you could use some of its abilities, but not all of them.
Yeah.
But
Like,
it was the fact that it did so much, not that there was so much that it could do that was the problem.
yeah.
Just let
But
it
you
do
put-
1 or 2 of the things rather than 3 out of 4, and it's
Yeah.
all good. I don't think Mop Strike should have gone, just pure and simple. There were so many more ridiculous cards in the UU reprints, and somehow this was the one that saw play. But I mean, we talked about Rando's Spirit Gun already. Rando's Spirit Gun allows you to completely change the rules of the game using once per turns twice, and they didn't touch that, aside from saying Toga can't use it.
Yeah. So if other people are breaking Mop Strike, just make it so only Botan can use it.
Yeah, but I don't think Mop Strike was even broken. There's a lot of card draw in the game.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that much stronger than the card draw that exists. Younger Toguro was very much the problem here, because, you know, a 4-4, discard 1, draw 2 for 4 is not that bad.
Yeah.
A 4-9, discard 1, draw 2 for 4 is a lot worse.
Yeah, and a lot of the reason it's being so much play is because of how good it is in Younger Toguro. But if they want to stop him being so good, Mop Strike's also going to come down.
So yeah, I am not happy with Mop Strike gone. Yeah, it was a great card. It was not a busted card.
Yeah.
I think there are ways they could have tweaked it if they needed to. I don't think it needed to go.
Yeah. It didn't need to go. Like, yeah, maybe change it a little, but just simple Botan enhance. And then it's completely fine as a card.
Then we get on to the new set Errata. The new set Errata is just silly. I mean, we have tuning in is Specifically, it's a charged range tech. The update has been it's now a charged range tech. They just took the D off charged because charged is not a keyword, and they didn't want it to have a new keyword to interact with all the number of keywords matters stuff in this set.
Yeah. We all probably knew it was meant to be charged, but it's nice to see that it's an official thing now, because it did cause some stuff if it was classed as a different keyword.
Yeah. Then we have Zero Satellites, which has, among other things, enhanced this attack gets +2 damage for each card with 0 gravity in its name your card pool. They've changed that to each card with 0 gravity in its name in your card pool. So it's just got the correct text now. That's clearly a blatant typo.
Are you telling me I can't name my card pool anymore? Goodbye, call the card pool, I guess.
I mean, you can name the card pool, it just won't do anything. Anyway, the final one, the absolute stupidest, is Exhausted Slumber. Exhausted Slumber is a 0 diff with response Tenacious Flip. After this foundation is stunned during a rival attack, your block modifier to block that attack gets +2. Can you see what's wrong there?
Yeah, it's meant to say minus. I guess the person that wrote this up was exhausted while making this.
You say it needed the minus. It didn't necessarily need the minus. It could have also been +2 to your check to block. And that's what I think happened here. They had two ideas for what the ability should be. One to -2 the modifier, one to +2 the check, and they accidentally blended the two into one that just makes your block modifier higher, so it's harder to block. But yeah, the errata just changes that plus to a minus. That's all there is to it. It was supposed to improve your chance to block, not worsen it, as they put it. They do also note, use of the word stunned has never existed on a card before, and they clarify here that that refers specifically to a card being committed due to a rival stun effect.
It's weird that they've gone for adding stun to the thing. It's going to see some play just because it's a 0 diff with some okay symbols. But if it was committed due to a rival effect or stun, it would have still seen the same amount of play, I think. It just makes it a little worse.
It is a little more limited because it has to be a stun effect that commits it. But at the same time, and this is still going to see play. This is still probably going to see a lot of play because people really love their anti-stun. And this doesn't just resist stun. This doesn't just make up for itself being stunned. This makes up for itself and an additional card being stunned. So if your opponent only has stun 1, it's actually positive for this to be stunned for you.
Yeah, which could stop them just stunning you all together.
Yeah, exactly. It's proper stun hate. It gives a reason for your opponent not to use their stun.
Yeah, which is a lot better than a lot of these stun stoppers where they just traded themselves for that stun.
Yeah, the resistance to stun just doesn't help anything. At least not long term. It doesn't stop your opponent stunning you. It just makes them do it a second time to get the effect. Now, personally, in one of my upcoming decks that I'll be showing you very soon, I am running a card specifically to be stun resistance. But that's a little bit different. That's specifically because I go up against Toga. Toga does a pseudo stun effect before the actual enhanced step even starts. So I need this one card that reacts outside of the enhanced step. And then it readies itself. It lets me use it to block during the actual attack that it's been committed during. And then once it's committed, I just blow it up to Genkai's Guidance.
That card. That should have been on here, not Mob Strike.
Oh, Genkai's Guidance absolutely needed at the very least Errata, but we will talk about that in a future video. You'll see why soon. And I think they should have hit a bunch of other things, most notably Struggling with Studies, because Struggling with Studies is getting to the point where it loops a ridiculous number of on-block effects. And, well, I mean, I said previously in an update on my Moneta deck that basically Manifest, be they Struggling with Studies down, meant your opponent just went, no, I'm not going to play a third attack, it's not worth it. And that was the point where I realized Struggling with Studies is not okay.
I agree, it is really annoying. It stopped a lot, even in just slower decks like Giro 2 that I play a lot.
In Giro 2, it loops your Breaker.
Yeah, and that's Breaker 2 90% of the time.
Breaker 2 twice is a lot.
I think with Mob Strike, they should have waited, done the Younger Toguro hit, and then, if it was still seeing too much play, then do something about Mob Strike.
Yeah, but Younger Toguro needed to be hit harder.
Yeah.
The fact that he's still 6 hand size is really frustrating, because it's very obvious just from looking at him that 5 hand size is what would make him okay. Probably not on its own, but you wouldn't need to do too much else to him. 5 hand size is the big thing that this character needs, because he is already statted like a 5 hand size character, and his buff is that of a character who can't play as many attacks, and his response is that of a character who can't build as many foundations. both because of having a poor hand size.
Yeah.
I think they should have hit Younger Toguro harder. I think they should have hit Genkai's guidance. I think it's silly that we had to have Errata to Exhausted Slumber, Zero Satellites, and Tuning In. But, well, it's nice that it happened at least. Just consider UVS Games, given that you do this almost every set. Maybe get some more proofreaders in. I think it's nice that they hit Rando's Spirit Gun and hit it in a way that doesn't affect any other interaction. I still think it's stupid that they hit Mob Strike. I still think it's stupid that they didn't hit Struggling with Studies, and that they didn't hit Genkai's Guidance, and that the two can still be used together even. And I do think the Errata to Younger Toguro needs some reconsideration.
Yeah, he needs more doing. Lower his health so he's in line with it, but just make him a 5-hander. It's the easiest change to him.
Just make him 5 health then.
Yeah.
Leave his hand size, cut his health to 5.
Yeah, swap around. He's a 6 health with he draws 32 cards.
Oh god. I don't think you understand what's wrong with that. When you mulligan, you can put your hand on the bottom in any order. If there are less than your hand size left in the deck, you can then choose basically 4 cards out of your hand to be redrawn in the new hand.
I'm not saying it's what should happen. I'm saying it would be funny to happen.
Yeah, it would be hella funny. Imagine if you only ran 4 foundations and you stacked the deck so that your second hand didn't get those 4 foundations. You could guarantee your second mulligan.
Sounds like something I would purposely build.
No, it sounds like something I would purposely build.
What we both would do.
Locals would be only Younger Toguro if he had 32 hand size, regardless of his health. Don't print a 32 hand size character, it will never work. But do consider lowering Younger Togoro's hand size to 5. That's it for this time. Catch you again in the next video. Bye.
Bye.